to you at 7 o'clock, this is what we have.
This is, right, I just, I feel bad, cause like, the weather's so bad. How long do you say?
See,
This is gonna be going until.
Here's Mark, alright, let's just go. Yep, alright.
Let me unmute this and I'll record.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Alex? All good, one sec, one live.
All right, now we are going to begin the public workshop portion of the Chatham Township Committee meeting this evening. So we're gonna start with monthly reports. Huh? What? The monthly, so this is the workshop. We're not doing the committee, like, the committee reports will go after 7:30. Oh, after the public session, yeah, after the regular. All right, so the main purpose of this is for any questions on, monthly reports from our department heads. Were there any questions that were emailed that need to be addressed, or?
Not on the monthly reports, and just to clarify, because of the one meeting, one schedule, typically the monthly reports are good for the earlier part of the, sorry. Because we've got one meeting this month, the reports are coming in later on your agenda, so these reports are for May, the month of May. So you'll be getting the June reports for the July meeting, so just wanted to clarify that these reports may be a little stale, but they're still relevant. And then there's the issue of the Morris County Urban County Renewal Qualification, and that's, I think, a pretty simple thing, but did want to confirm with the elected officials. So this has to do with HUD regulations, federal HUD regulations, and the county has what's known as the Community Development Program. That's what usually distributes things like CDBG funds, Community Development Block Grant funds and all. Certain municipalities, depending on their size, depending on their population and their budgets, like to handle some of the administrative and some of the administrative aspects of the CDBG and the home grant programs on their own. The county handles that in a lot of other places for smaller municipalities. They've been handling it for us. The agreement is ending and it will automatically renew for 24, 25, and 26, meaning the county will handle this for us, but they need affirmative confirmation or a denial. They asked that I notify them by July 7th whether we want to terminate our agreement with the county and try and handle this on our own, which I strongly advise against, or if we're okay with continuing with them. There's really not much to it, but I don't know if Peter wants to add anything on that.
No, I mean,
Is there any benefit to doing it on our own?
I think for the potential, so some of the benefits would be that the pot of monies, you have a bit more discretion in how you spend that pot of money, and some of the administrative overhead that reduces the amount of money that the county is using to administer the program kind of nets out. But it's all based on census tract data and zones that qualify. I don't think that what we would get on our own would be large enough anyways to make up for whatever administrative overhead we would have in trying to even administer the program ourselves. So I don't see really a benefit to it. Most municipalities of our sizes are would do the same thing, even statewide, unless you're like a Jersey City or a Newark.
Larger in urban area where they have housing authorities, they have big block buildings. For them, they have that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes more sense, but for a smaller town.
The flip side to the mayor's question is there any downside to ceding the ability to the right, the authority to handle it ourselves to the county? Like are we giving, when we give that, what we're giving them effectively authorization to handle the Chatham Township piece of this for us, or are we giving them anything else?
No, we
rights
still
to do
have a
anything in
voice.
this town?
Yeah, we still have a voice in it. So each municipality still, they've got like little committees, community development block grant committees, and they provide input to the county and they vote on essentially how they want to distribute the monies as representatives from all the municipalities. So it's still a democratic process to make sure that every town is heard. So you're not really ceding much by doing this.
Anything that would be used, like what's an example of something that this type of money is used for? Just the most
So
Basic
the
example.
home funds go for affordable housing activities, really like things, if there's blighted conditions, if there are housing projects that need money to be spent on. So for example, in Red Bank, we had a HUD program for housing, and we were able to use that. We could use that money for redoing the ramps, the windows, maybe refurbishing. We don't have that here. We on the CDBG side, typically if you are doing things like sidewalk curb cuts and ramps for ADA accessibility, if those fall within a qualifying census tract as far as low and moderate income, then yes. So I don't believe we've got much that would qualify anyways to do this on our own.
Right. So I guess maybe overly sensitive, but yeah, the way I mean, and we don't have a lot of places like that, obviously. But I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. It's not like we could be notified by somebody from Morris County that they're coming to Chatham Township with some money to do something, without it being through all the proper channels as far as zoning, planning,
Oh, no, it would all
total
go
local
through-
control. They couldn't
Yes.
just dictate to us that something was happening.
Would not happen. No, this is really just administering how the funds are dispersed for these kinds of projects.
You said it was renewal. Like, is this something we've been doing for years and years?
It seems though, I mean, all I know is that at least for the last period, we've been part of their program. Whether prior administrators brought this to the governing body's attention or not, I don't know, but, this is not the kind of decision I think, administrators should make without your knowledge.
Any idea, Greg, how long we've been in this program?
I'm not too familiar with this particular program.
I mean, I certainly don't recall anything coming to the committee, years prior, but I started paying attention maybe, 8 years ago or so.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good with it.
Okay, are there any other issues that need to be addressed on tonight's agenda
Well,
or
in-
discussions?
Yeah, in terms of the workshop meeting though, the monthly reports, I had several questions that I had sent in. Mr. Chadi, do you have any answers to those?
Which questions, Committeeman?
I had questions on finance, rec, audit, a couple of things. Did you receive them?
If you sent them, then I'm sure I received them. Whether I read them yet, I've gotten a lot of emails, so may not have seen them yet.
Okay. So for the finance report indicates that interest earned is 258% ahead of anticipated. The budget for this year is saying interest on investments is 44,000. Do we have a projection or a thought as to what being 258% ahead at this point, what that means for the amount of interest income?
I think the budget document speaks for itself in terms of what we projected for revenue by way of interest. So if we meet that, which I believe we're on track to meet, then great.
No, I'm
not-
talking about the finance report, though. The
Right.
finance report says 258% ahead of anticipated. So let me simplify the question. Interest on investments, to my understanding, I guess a common understanding would be, hey, we have money in the bank, it's paying a rate of interest, it's a known rate of interest. So should we, was there some sort of interest windfall? Did a CD come due, or is this just our regular rate of interest? It's been creeping up because interest rates have gone up, and so therefore we're way ahead of budget.
I will look into that for you.
Okay. Are you aware of any investment changes that we've made?
Nope.
Okay. So along with that, obviously interest rates have been going up, and we do have some alternatives available to us as a municipality. We don't just have to be in a bank. Have we explored any of those options?
I'll check with our finance team and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Well, our CFO's here. Could we talk about it now? This is the report section.
Well, I'll refer that to the finance committee and then we can provide you an answer with it.
Okay, so to summarize the questions then, the questions are, what's our new interest projection for the year?
We're not gonna have a new interest projection for the year. Our interest projection for the year is that which was in our budget.
Yeah, they don't reproject.
Okay, well,
That's our projection. That's what, I'm confused about where all this is going. Your initial question was, we're ahead. I said, if we're more than what we've brought in, it goes to fund balance. Our revenue projection for interest was what was in the adopted budget.
okay, well, I mean, just to be 258% at this point, I guess is remarkably good, but it's also, it's sort of limiting. So I think the great thing about that, just for this committee to know, is we are feeding fund balance at a rate that's ahead of what was anticipated by the budget. Is that a fair statement then?
No, it's not.
Why not?
Because this doesn't feed our fund balance right now. Your fund balance is not replenished by your current year's revenue.
But it would carry, right, to the future?
And theoretically, in 2 years. So right now, this does not feed into our fund balance. That's an incorrect statement.
Okay, I think it's a bit semantical, but I accept that, thank you. Okay, I had asked about, we had received a recreation report, there was a big to-do about recreation and a meeting and having a meeting, and then all of a sudden that meeting was canceled. What was the cause of that cancellation?
That's not on the monthly report.
But this is a recreation issue, and this is a workshop portion of the meeting.
The need for that meeting was no longer necessary.
Okay, so you just don't want to answer.
No, I just answered. There was, the necessity of that meeting is no longer there.
Okay, well, just so that this committee knows, I was asked to attend a recreation meeting. I asked what the agenda was for the meeting. I was refused to be told what the agenda was. I then agreed to meet and provided some agenda items that I would like addressed, and then within a day, the meeting was canceled. I don't know what I'm supposed to, where I'm supposed to go with that, or what I'm supposed to think, but those are the facts as they lay. I'm trying to, talk into that, speak into that right now.
Okay, but that wasn't on the monthly reports, and these questions were for the monthly reports.
So there were absolutely there was recreation meetings on the monthly report. There was
The
discussion.
joint rec meetings,
Okay, so we have to be talk about
but
specific
you're
rec
not
meetings.
on the joint rec committee.
Okay. So I will say though that I've sent in many questions. So and I guess I can feel how this is going. But my question, why is it that my questions have no priority, or there's no, I mean, I need answers to some of these things. Mr. Strati's saying, I mean, what's the purpose of there being a Monday deadline for questions for a Tuesday meeting if the questions are neither going to be read nor addressed?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Does anyone
jump
have
in. I'll
you
jump
have
in.
to have a
The-
concern about that, because I need more information than what's provided sometimes, and I'm sure we all do. And it doesn't make sense to me that I have been told specifically I cannot send my questions to be answered by anyone else on staff except for Mr. Shoddy. Mr. Shoddy has now said to us in session here that he's not sure if he's even read my questions or whether he's received them, and he has not responded to them. So I'm being asked to vote on things for which I have not received answers to questions. And even as we sit here tonight, there's going to be some more. I have other questions about other resolutions and things that are on this agenda, which I have not had any feedback on. And so I guess we're going to go through this again, item by item.
Okay, the reason why we ask for questions ahead of time is because our goal for these workshop meetings was never intended to put any of our employees, including Mr. Shihadi, in the hot seat. That's not our intention. It was never to, okay, let's drill our employees with questions, because that's wildly inappropriate. And they're here to help us, to help the town and so forth. They're here as a favor to us to help answer questions, and we want to make sure that they're prepared, and so that they have the responses that they feel comfortable with before they talk to the public. We signed up for talking to the public and to being on camera and to be sitting on this dais. Our employees did not. They're doing that as a favor to us, to help us make decisions. So that was the reason for asking for the questions ahead of time, because it's not meant to put anybody in an uncomfortable situation. If they feel uncomfortable, I would ask them to get up and leave and go email us instead, because that's not the goal here. We have great employees who we appreciate and we respect. Okay, in regards to your questions in particular, I mean, in 5 days alone, you've sent over a dozen emails with questions after questions after questions, to a point where you're not asking for, better concern or oversight or anything. It's more of just to overburden our staff with requests and complaints, and that's not productive. It actually is counterproductive.
If you could quote anything that you're
excuse me,
no,
I'm
you're
not- no,
you're
no,
making
you do
an
not have the
accusation.
floor right now.
Yeah, but you're making an
Excuse me,
accusation without
you do
any
not have
example.
the floor right now. You're out of order. I let you speak, and you are not here to interrupt. Do you understand?
Okay, so I'll answer
No,
the
no, no, no,
question.
no. I did not. I'm not done. You do not have the floor at the moment. I don't know how much clearer I need to make this. You do not have the floor right now. I've not relinquished that. Okay? The fact is that your questions have been so burdensome onto our staff, where it's counterproductive to any other goals and any other work product that they're trying to do. So they have no choice but to concentrate on one thing. It's not productive to constantly spend every waking second of their day going through reading your emails that are email after email after email. I see a lot of these emails because a lot of times I'm CC'd or they're forwarded to me. And it's so, no reasonable person could possibly answer every single question in your emails. So
I have about 9 questions, and to ask a question like, why was the recreation meeting canceled? I'm a member of the recreation committee. I was asked to attend. I did. Why was it canceled? And you even see a refusal tonight to answer a question. The questions are completely germane to the agenda. They are succinct questions. They don't even, in most cases, don't even take up 3 sentences or make a paragraph. They're one-line questions. So I would challenge you to take any of my emails, and then you can open those emails. Just put out the questions. Put out the questions that are so unreasonable. You should publish them. You should read them.
I hope people do open your emails to Mr. Shihadi, because they are wildly inappropriate.
You could publish
But anyway,
them.
we're
You
going to
could
move
po- you
on to
could
the next
post them.
person.
You
Does
could
anybody
read
else
them
have
in
any
this-
questions
in these meetings.
in regards to our monthly reports? All right, so then I'm going to, is there, I guess, do we motion here to close out our workshop meeting? Okay, can I get a motion to close out our workshop meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so then we will start our regular public session in 10 minutes.
Recording stopped.
Ten minutes.
Okay, this is driving me nuts. Can I
Yeah,
hang this
yeah,
up?
sorry. Yeah, it's just the camera was rolling.
It's
and
the
it
mom
wasn't.
in me, it's driving me nuts.